actually is one of the first Western devotees of Srila Gurudev. She met Srila Gurudev as, she's from the UK, in 1990. I think she was the third devotee. And she took Harinam in 1990 and Diksha in 1991. Quite amazing. So we're very lucky, privileged, and fortunate to hear from Indulekha, who has made it online. We managed to get online, which is fantastic. Welcome, Didi.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I'm a little bit on the reclusive side, and I don't really do things like this, but on this occasion I decided I wanted to tell the story of how I met Srila Gurudev in 1990. So I was at school with Vishaka. She made me a devotee. We were both in the sixth form doing our A-levels together. And she said to me, you should come to India to meet Narayan Maharaj. Anyway, so I went to Bhaktivedanta Manor. I stayed there for a little while. And then I decided that actually I wanted to find my own spiritual master, and I met some people from the Chaitanya Mat, which is in Krishnanagar. And I took initiation from Bhakti Sri Bhagavat Maharaj, who was the head of that organization at the time. He was 93 years old. He initiated me, Harinam initiated me by letter. So then I decided that I needed to go to India to meet him. And Vishaka and a tutor said to me, well, we'll pay for your ticket if you come to Mathura Mat first, to Keshavji Gaudiya Mat. So I thought that sounded like quite a good deal. So I said, yes, okay, I will. So before I went to Krishnanagar, I went to Mathura. And I didn't meet Gurudev the day I got there. I met him the next day, and I went into his room. He was looking down. It was Purnima. I remember that. And when he looked up, he looked at me, and he straight away just put his hand up like this, and he looked at me very compassionately. And I knew in that moment that I had actually had a feeling before I was going to take initiation from Bhakti Sri Bhagavat Maharaj that it was something I shouldn't do. It was a very, very strong intuition. So I knew at that point that actually Narayan Maharaj was truly my spiritual master, my guru, and I had found him. And there I was sitting at his feet, and I had to leave, and I had to go to Krishnanagar. Anyway, I went to Krishnanagar, and I was probably too young to appreciate how amazing a Vaishnava Bhakti Sri Bhagavat Maharaj was, I have to say, because I was 19 at the time. But I stayed there for a little while. But every time we went out on parikrama, we saw Narayan Maharaj's entourage, and every time I saw him, he would turn and look at me. I mean, I could say that maybe he was just looking at us in general, but I felt that he was seeing me, that he was looking at me. And I realized that I couldn't stay in Krishnanagar anymore, and that I couldn't take second initiation. Bhakti Sri Bhagavat Maharaj wanted to give me second initiation, but I knew I couldn't do it. He'd already given me the name Uma Shashi. So I just went to him and I said, Gurudev, I'm sorry, but I can't take Brahmin initiation from you. And he said to me, I know why. He said, it's because of Narayan Maharaj. And I have no idea how he knew that, except that he's a Siddha. He knew all of these things because of the glorious person that he was. So he said to me, I'm not angry with you, and I'm just going to take back your name and your beads, and you're free to go to Narayan Maharaj. He explained to me that actually his guru Odalomi Maharaj was the brother of Param Gurudev Keshav Maharaj. So he said, you're free to go. So he took back my beads, he took back my name. And there and then I realized that I felt like I was just adrift in the material world. I had no guru, I was lost, and that if Gurudev didn't accept me as his disciple, then I didn't know what I was going to do. So I straight away just got a boat over the Ganges to Navadvip, and I just walked into Devananda Gaudiya Math. And I didn't announce that I was coming. Nobody knew who I was or who I wanted to see. But as I turned around the corner, Naveen Krishna Prabhu, Madhav Maharaj, was he had the door open and he was laughing. And then I went into Gurudev's room and he was laughing. They knew that I was there and I was coming somehow. So I walked in and Gurudev looked at me and said, "Why are you here?" And I explained what had happened. I said, I just left my guru and I need to take shelter at your lotus feet. And if you don't give me shelter, then I don't know what I'm going to do. And he was laughing and he said, "Okay, I will give you initiation. Come back tomorrow and bring your heart and some flowers." So, I mean, clearly what he meant by flowers was a garland, but nobody told me this. I didn't have anyone to tell me about the process of Harinam initiation or anything. So I just went to the market and I just got a handful of semi-wet marigolds and I went into his room the next day and I just put them on the bed and he turned around and looked at them and then looked back at me because I don't think he was a bit bemused by this. And then he said, he initiated me. This is the most wonderful, the most mystical thing that has ever happened in my life. I think about it almost daily, actually. And he said to me, "What shall I call you?" So I had this, I love the name Indulekha. But because there was already a Lalita who was a lady from Leicester and there was Vishaka. And so I thought, well, I'll be Chitra, the next of the Ashtasakis. But I was thinking, I love this name, Indulekha. And he just looked at me and said, "Indulekha, I will call you Indulekha." And so then I went back to Krishnanagar. I got all of my belongings and I stayed in Devananda Math. And when everybody went back to Mathura, I went with them. And I lived in the Math for 6 months the first time. I went back to the UK. I came back and I stayed for 9 months. At that time, everybody was like a lot younger than they are now, obviously. Didi was living in the room next to mine. And I had the most wonderful experience. I just, in many ways, I feel like the proverbial turtle that puts its head through the wooden ring on the ocean. Just one minute I'm this schoolgirl in England and the next minute I'm sitting there at the feet of a Mahabhagavat every day. And it was absolutely just the most wonderful thing. And I feel as though, although I tend to be quite reclusive about doing things like this, I just wanted to share this story because it's at a time when I think most Western disciples, in fact, there weren't any Western disciples, there were just 3 of us. I think maybe some ISKCON sannyasis had gone to see Gurudev, but he had, predominantly Indian following at the time. And yeah, it was just wonderful. So short, but thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.